Hi friends, my name is Bhavya Mangla. I'm again back with a very interesting topic, and the name of the topic is Generation Gap, and it is inspired from my book The Power of Self-Talk. And by the time this video will end, you will understand what exactly is the meaning of generation gap, why it is happening, what are the repercussions that is happening on child and the parent, and what we can do to make sure to minimize or to avoid this generation gap. When we talk about generation gap, primarily what we are talking about that this generation and the next generation, there is a difference of opinion, difference of thoughts, the way in which the new generation thinks, the way in which the old generation thinks, there is a gap between that. The values are different, the opinions are different, the way of working is different. So that's why it is called a generation gap. So let me share something with respect to the childhood. When the child is generally 1 or 2 years old, what happens? Child don't know anything. The child may be weeping, laughing, wetting the bed, maybe waking up any time in the night or during the day, but still the parent accepts that child and they laugh, they feel good that child is doing all those things. As the child grew up, and now maybe 10 or 12 or something like that, now every day when the child is coming back from school, child is full of energy and sharing all the good things, all the things which has happened in the school. It could be good or bad. What happened with the teacher, with friends, what they have eaten, what all nuisance they have created in the school. And the mother generally who is there at that particular time used to enjoy listening to that, irrespective of whether she is liking or not. And then this process continues. But by the time child enters the teenage, and one fine afternoon when the child comes from the school and with the same excitement and the same energy, this time the child is telling the parents that today I bunked my school, or today I tried smoking, or something like that. But this day, the feedback which is coming from the parents is entirely different from what it was coming all the days. All of a sudden the parents become very serious, very annoyed. Maybe they can talk something very rudely to the child. They may complain to the school, they may talk to the teacher, or they may tell so many things to teach the child that this is not right, and you have to do in all these things. Our child may be a little bit surprised to see that so far whenever I was coming and telling everything what is happening in my life, my parents are always very open, very transparent and accepting everything. Why today they are not accepting it? Maybe a little bit confused about that. Maybe after a few days or weeks, again, child shares one more naughty incident that, okay, today, we steal the password of the teacher, or maybe I tried a non-vegetarian food, or maybe today I just had a little liquor, or maybe something like that. Well, again, the reaction which is going to come from parents will be, in general, very different. They will be very annoyed, very angry. They may scold the child, and they want to see that what needs to be done so that child remains within certain boundaries and should not become bad or something like that. Now, this is a very crucial time, because at this time the child will start thinking that, oh, it means I should not say everything to my parents. Parents think that now a child has stopped sharing any naughty things with them, but in reality child is still doing everything, but he or she has stopped sharing it with their parents. And then this saga continues. Parents feel that yes, they have controlled their child. Children know that now they know what to share and what not to share with their parents. And then when the same child go to the peer group and share the same thing, the child gets the acceptance. And then child start feeling that my peer group, my friend circle understands me much better. So in a way, his closeness with his friends increases and the closeness with the parents decreases. And then it continues for a long time. But does it mean that parents should not tell the child what is right and what is wrong? Certainly yes, parents have to tell, because it is their very important job and they know much more about the child than what the child knows. But the important thing is how that needs to be done. Well, someone has very rightly said, what we call as generation gap is usually a result of interaction gap. So it's very important to understand that till a certain age, the child used to roam around us. And we are always busy in our job or business or maybe homework. But after a while, when the child is in a teenage, then parents start roaming around the child. And child used to say that I'm busy, I'm doing that. And maybe at times child shuts the door, say I'm busy, don't disturb me. Why does it happen? Because till a certain time, the child was getting all the acceptance and parents were non-judgmental whatever child was doing. But after a certain time, parents start becoming judgmental and they were not accepting everything what child was doing. So in a way, child start feeling aloof and child feel that the parents are not understanding my perspective. Parents feel that their perspective is right, child feels their perspective is right, because now the child starts feeling that I'm old enough to understand what is right and what is wrong with me. But what's important at this time is to understand that what is the right time to talk to the child. Because when we just scold the child or start giving a lesson to a child, irrespective of understanding whether the child is in the mood or not, we'll certainly feel that the child is not understanding what you are trying to say. And these days, there's a very interesting concept of counselor. Very interestingly, the same child will not be comfortable in front of the parents, but the same child in front of a counselor will say each and everything. And one very important thing to understand is that counselor is not giving any solution. Whatever the child is sharing with the counselor will just help the child to find their own answers from there. So what is happening? The parents are most close. The parents are the best friend of the child. But after some time, the counselor, the strangers, maybe the grandparents, maybe the relatives, they become much more closer than the parents. And then we generally call it as a generation gap. Well, someone has very, very interestingly said about this thing, that generation gap surfaces when the old try to go back in time, while the young try to move it forward. So it's very important to understand at this particular time that when the child is looking for support, when the child is looking for acceptance, if the parent can understand that what the child is thinking, if the parents can be non-judgmental, there is a very high possibility that this generation gap, what we generally talk about, will be either not there or it will be minimized. Because when the child goes to the peer group, there the child gets the acceptance. There the child feels that yes, they understand what I am thinking. But when the same child comes home, at that time, child finds it very difficult to communicate the same feelings what the child is having. So what needs to be done? The first and the most important thing is to accept the child as they are. The second most important thing is to be non-judgmental. When the parents are non-judgmental, the child feels at home. And the third and the most important thing is to find the most appropriate time when the child is willing to listen. And at that time, the parent should tell what is right and what is wrong without expecting the child to accept each and everything. Once the parents are able to do that, there is a very, very high possibility that the child will be in close relationship with the parents, and this generation gap which we are seeing, which generally we think as a normal, which actually is abnormal, will not be there, or it will be minimal as much as possible. Well, it has been very, very rightly said by Rabindranath Tagore, don't limit a child to your own learnings, for he was born in another time. If I talk about myself, I have challenged myself to be a better father, to be a better parent. I have succeeded, I have failed. Many things I did right, many things I did wrong. But I'm still learning and improving myself. What you are doing, what is your experience? I'm looking for your feedback. Thank you.